Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of Native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. I'm your host, Don Yazzie, and my co-host, Darren Yazzie.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, there he is. There he is.
So, who's the guest today, man?
We got Jim Rollo. Jim Rollo.
Is that right?
Canada.
Huh.
Yeah.
Really? I always like talking to the Canadians out there, the Turtle Island brothers out there.
Whoa, NJSJ2XQ. Just seen you on TikTok. Hello. Hey. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was on the TikTok live trying to tell everyone, hey, we're going live over here on YouTube, Facebook, jump on Twitch, whatever, just jump on. I download the TikTok thing for the laptop, so I'm trying to mess around with it, and got a lot of people want to share stories, so it's like a little tiny output out there to reach people as well. There's a lot of traffic up there, up in TikTok. What's up, Javon Colshell 24/7? What's up? Good evening, Dawn and Darren. Excited for this episode. Oh man, thank you. We're excited to bring it to y'all. Oh, here's Jim. All right, guest of honor. Here he is, Mr. Jim Rollo. Right here.
That's me.
Whoa, kind of foggy there, buddy.
Whoa, just getting out of Woodstock.
Oh, that's hot. Huh. Well, it's a good thing that I got a face for radio.
Keeping it mysterious, huh? Keep it cloudy, mysterious.
I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's the excuse me, the screen over that. You got one of those protective screens.
Oh yeah, that could be it too, man.
I look kind of ghostly though. Don't
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
Smoking weed all day.
Oh man, you're in Jimi Hendrix bus right there. His mystery machine.
Yep. Well, I am being stalked by a woman that I know, so maybe this is best.
Oh. That's always good.
Oh man. Oh no. She might be Navajo. Watch out.
Yeah, she broke into my house. I lost a toe.
What? Wait, what? You lost?
I lost a toe. The only way that she broke the lock on the door, and the only way to stop her from coming in and killing me, killing the dogs, because in Canada, we have to triple lock our firearms. So by the time I could get a shotgun out, I'd have been dead. So the only way that I could stop her from coming in was wedging my foot between her and the door. And every time that she smashed it with a crowbar or with her body, it sliced into my toes. They managed to reattach two of the toes, but the baby toe she crushed. So.
Oh man, sorry to hear, man.
Hey, I'm alive. My dogs are alive.
Oh yeah, that's
the ongoing joke was that she turned me gay and said, "No, rug burn on my elbows isn't the thing that I find attractive."
All right, one second here. 1 second before we start. Let's read this one last comment, and then we'll start the show. At Benneth Scum 666 Yachts F from another Yazzie in Albuquerque.
What's
What's up? What's up, Ben? Scum 66. I'll just call you Scum 666 if you comment again. Thank you. All right. So, welcome, Mr. Jim.
Hello.
And this is your episode. So, feel free to introduce yourself and, yeah, tell us your stories all the way back from the beginning of your
Sure.
extraordinary life.
It has been interesting. I live in Northern Ontario, which is a place called Sudbury, which is close to a place called Manitoulin Island, which it's the largest freshwater island in the world, but it also means Great Island or the Great Spirit Island. And a lot of things happen there. And I don't know why, because my heritage is Viking and Scottish. So I don't know why I've been led to the philosophies of the Anishinaabe. I mean, even when I was, Anishinaabe is Ojibwe. So I was out riding my horse one day and I happened to come across a sweat lodge. And I stopped and I was wondering what was going on because I've seen all these half naked people coming out of an adobe. So I just nodded and smiled and went on my merry way. And I went to the barn where I kept my horse and they told me it was a sweat lodge. And from there, I asked if I could go in. Now, it followed my philosophy that religion costs money. Whenever you get involved in a religion, doesn't matter if it's Catholicism or being an Anglican, doesn't matter. If you're going into an organized religion, whether it's whatever it is, it costs you money. But going into a sweat lodge to get a greater connection between yourself and the spirit, or the self and the creator, all it takes is just tobacco rolled in a red cloth, and you present it to the elder, and he accepts you in. And the interesting thing was that I worked for, at the time, an ultra-conservative political party in Canada. And it bothered my elder, Herb Navigon, so much that he went to his elder. And his elder said, Jim is there to learn tolerance and you're there to learn patience. But he said, Jim, as soon as you opened up your mouth, I realized you weren't some nut job extremist. And we were friends up until the day he died. And it was incredible. And I learned a lot from that man. I actually got my prayer pipe from him and my spirit name, which is Gano Mandudam, Golden Eagle of the Loon Clan. And I vowed I would never.
1 second. 1 second. Can you say that one more time?
Gano Mandudam.
Ojibwe, huh?
Golden Eagle of the Loon Clan.
Golden Eagle of the Loon Clan. In
Yeah.
Ojibwe?
Yeah. Well,
nice.
Ojibwe Cree, because Herb was both Ojibwe and Cree. So,
okay.
And there's a lot of, what I learned later is there's a lot of different dialects, even within the Anishinaabe Nation. So from somebody from Minnesota up from Northern Ontario, words can have a different meaning or a different sound, right? But I was honored because, again, my heritage is Viking and Scottish. And I was impressed. And I've seen a lot of things within this. I mean, my first sweat lodge, I saw turtle spirit in the east. I saw deer in the south. I saw an otter in the west and a cougar, not one with lipstick and high heels, but but I saw a cougar in the north. And I didn't have a clue what they meant. And one of the people within the lodge described what those spirits' strengths were, and that's exactly what I was needing in life. And then from that, I've seen a lot of experiences, spirits, Mugwa or black bear, which I even saw death through Mugwa. It was interesting. I saw a skull come to me, I saw Mugwa come to me, and there was a spiral in between his ears. And then he came out at me as a skull, jagged teeth, and then disappeared. And when I asked Herb what this meant, and he said not to frighten you, but it sounds like somebody that you know was going to die within 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 years, somebody close to you. and it's going to be an awful death. And sure enough, I had a fellow whom one of my first memories when I was about 2 or 3 is of this man, and we're playing with a toy jet in the hallway. And whenever the jet, you remember those old jets you roll backwards and it would go forwards? It was a little key type thing. And every time it would crash, he would say, "Oh, 700 people died." And he's one of my first memories. He actually taught me how to carve. Incredible man. But he had his own demons. He's a severe alcoholic, and that's what he passed away from. But whatever Herb had predicted, that's what came forth. It was incredible. And then I saw the little boy. We were on this is my 4th fast before I got my name. And I saw a little boy, and he was knelt in the west where the buffalo head was on a mound. And he's just looked over at me. He had eyes like ice blue, but the rest of him was Ashnavik. And according to tradition, the little boy brought all the teachings to the Ashnavik people, and he was blind. And one of the first things you notice when somebody with maybe cataracts or such, it looks that way, right? But it's been an incredible journey. And with the 7 teachings, you walk a balanced path. And it helps you be a better man. And one time when Herb gave me my prayer pipe, I was going through a bitter divorce, and it was over child custody. I ended up with 3 of the kids. But he said, "Jim, how's the pipe going?" So, "Herb, you wouldn't believe how many times this prayer pipe has saved my ex-wife's life." He just laughed. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
But before that, my first experience, I was about 5 years old, and I saw my first shadow man. He was on the bottom of the stairs. I was so petrified that I convinced my mother, and that's what I saw. She called the police. She called my dad, and the police did an investigation. Nobody was there, but that shadow man was at the bottom of my stairs. And we lived in a townhouse at the time, and it was built on a swamp. There's no history of anything that could correlate with that. It was incredible.
Wow. So what were your parents teaching? What was the Viking history?
We were raised with the United Church of Canada, which is a Protestant organization. My mom was raised Catholic, but I had no affiliation with Ashnavik police whatsoever, other than going to university and meeting a few. And I found interesting too. And I'm sorry if I'm just going all over the place, but there was a gentleman who did paranormal in, I think it was Wisconsin. And he ended up at 3 mounds. And apparently it's quite known in the States. And he audio taped somebody saying in Ashnavik, "Welcome to the place." A good friend of mine, Will Moran, he doesn't call himself an elder. He calls himself a knowledge carrier. Because there's a lot of animosity, let's say, between almost not animosity, but a rivalry or a jealousy. And I suspect you guys have it in your own communities where cousins don't like cousins and they start to spread crap.
Yeah. Sadly, we do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of the teaching that we got one day when the creator gave 2 people buckets and said, "Go get crayfish." And one was a Jugganosh, which is white, and the other one was Ashnavik. And the Ashnavik came and he had no crayfish other than one. And the Jugganosh came back and his bucket was full. The creator said, "What happened?" The Ashnavik guy said, "Well, I'd put one in, I put another one in, and the one that I first put in would push the other one out." It's so true, right? You don't want to see each other succeed. So We have it within our own culture, but it seems more predominant or noticeable in the communities up here, anyways. And it can be ruthless. So that's why Will calls himself a knowledge carrier. And I got to admit, I've learned a lot from him as well.
Yeah, that's all you can do in life is just learn as much as you can. And,
Yeah.
Make best friends. Make
Yeah.
friends.
And all you can do is be truthful to yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah. With wisdom comes great sadness as well.
Oh,
The
yeah.
more wise you get, the more sad you get. Realizing
Yeah.
there's things that you can't change.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I feel you on that.
Well, it
Yeah.
makes us who we are. I remember Herb. One thing that I respected about him is that whenever I would experience something, he would tell me, well, I suggest it could be this or it could be that. He wouldn't tell me what it was because the philosophy is that my relationship with the creator or with the spirits is my personal relationship. So how could somebody dictate what it means to somebody else? So, and when I asked him, well, if I don't know the answer, just because you want the answer right away, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. You're going to get it when you need it. It's so true. In two of my vision quests, I remember I was asleep, but when you're asleep but you're actually awake, you can tell your surroundings are all around you.
Yeah.
I was brought to a place that was a birch forest, so which is traditional Anishinaabe territory, right? The birch. So I'm walking, and this stout older woman is beckoning me to come follow her, and she had the most radiant smile that was just so calming and inviting. And I followed her, and I walked into an adobe. I think the best way to describe it is that around Colorado, you've got that rock that's like concrete. It's like a sandstone, but it's concrete. It was that color. And when I went in there was a younger woman, and she was bent before a smudge pot, and I saw the smoke curling right up. She brought me on a journey that was amongst the stars, and whatever question I had, she had an answer for. And I kept on thinking, okay, I got to remember this when I wake up. This is incredible. And the only two things that I can recall out of the entire vision quest was that one, there are answers to every question that's out there. And she said, don't lean too far over in a canoe or else you're going to get wet, which follows the philosophy of within the 7 teachings, if you follow too hard, you're going to rock off your balance. You're going to walk off your balance. So if you trust too much, you become naive. If you respect too much, it becomes idol worship. If you love too much, it becomes possession. That type of thing, right? Or one thing that I have trouble with is a sense of honor, and it could be stubbornness. So maybe that's because I'm a Scorpion. I don't know. But other than that,
if you don't mind, do you mind sharing what the 7 teachings are? Or
oh, sure.
Yeah.
Within the sacred medicine wheel, which with Herb, because he was taught by a Cree elder, it's a bit mixed up. So in the yellow, in the east, it's the yellow, where the yellow man sits. And to him, the south is where the black man sits, the west is where the native sits, and the north is where the white sits. And then all the colors correspond with the different races. And which really made me wonder. I said, how long have you believed in this? He said, thousands, if not tens of thousands of years. Well, how come you knew about the 4 different races when you were stuck on Turtle Island? Well, the little boy taught us, which gave me some type of an affirmation. But within those teachings, you've got respect, trust, love, courage, wisdom, honor, and humility. And if you follow those throughout life as best you can, it brings you to a balanced journey in your path. So I try to live by that every day. And I don't take it as a religion, I take it as a philosophy.
Right, right. Yeah, just a certain way of living, huh? It's certain code, like you say, don't lean too much on one side of the canoe, you know.
You're
So
gonna, you're gonna get wet.
yeah, right. That
Lean
just
side-
makes
yeah.
that makes more that makes sense, you know. That makes it's really funny that these that there was kind of humor in this in this teaching this person that you met, this lady, you know.
Mhm.
It's you would think that they would they would kind of be more serious, but it kind of it makes me happy that that they have humor. There's some knowledge and humor.
All you have to do is look at the platypus.
Right?
Who's gonna stick a duck's bill on a beaver?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
strange creature.
yeah. Do you know how like crazy this creature is? Like it's they have no stomach. They
They
glow in the
lay an
dark.
egg.
Yeah, they lay eggs. They're poisonous,
Yep.
and they use like the electronic or electrical stuff in their beak to like sharks. They're a really odd creature. If you really look it up, you'll make you laugh. They glow in the dark, which is really weird. It's really weird, and uh, they they excrete milk from their skin. So
Really?
how yeah, like how weird is this creature? If you really look at it, it's a really odd. It's a
Well,
really
that's
odd.
one of the reasons why I like Northern Ontario. We have no poisonous snakes, no sharks, no crocodiles. The only thing we have to worry about is bears and wolves and the moose. We actually more people get killed with moose than anything else. Yeah.
Wow.
1 second, guys. 1 second, guys. Let's catch up with the viewers real quick. Z Sun Dragon 6461. Hi Don. Hi Darren.
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
up?
Z Sun? Says hi Jim.
Hello.
And Sally Fourth Alone says hello. Hello,
Hey,
Sally.
what's up, Sally?
Melody Alvarez 1378. Hello.
Hey, Mal.
Polar Knights from Twitch. I did have a strange encounters in Canada. I did meet a modest man from Quebec. It was like I was in the Twilight Zone. Really?
Hmm.
Sounds
I don't.
interesting messages, man. Yeah. Najoni Yeja. Good evening,
I'm
Don
originally
and
from
Darren.
Quebec.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably talking about you.
Yeah.
um, Quebec's most interesting man. Najoni Yeja. Good evening, Don and Darren. Wanted
Yeah.
to stop by to say hello and listen for a little bit. Thank you,
Thank you.
Najoni Yeja. Fabian Perez. Hey, man. What's
Hey,
up?
what's up, man?
Amigos. Good evening, bros. Hope all's well. Little Wolf C13. What's up, Little Wolf?
Hey,
She's hi. Then damn
Mika.
IKEA James. I'll just say James. James
Okay.
3993. Hello. And true to my tribe. Hey. 0918 clans. Oh, it's after 10 in Canada, so no clans after 10.
Yeah. Do you know where your children are?
You know where the children are. Okay. Go ahead, guys.
I don't know why I've had all of these experiences, but they all been beneficial. They've all been helpful. I only had one experience that was traumatic, and when I was in university, there was a professor at Laurentian, and he did the 2 o'clock wow syndrome, and that's where you feel your body is completely immobile, but you can still look around and think, and it feels like something pressing is against your chest, and it feels absolute evil. And I've had that experience. But I've also had other things that are completely opposite to that. And even some of the experiences that just broke down and made me cry because I needed it. That horse picture that you see there, that's my horse Winston. I'm sorry,
Mm.
Wilson. And I trained him from a 2 year old. I watched Buck on Netflix, and I thought, well, I could try that. And sure enough, within 20 minutes, I was on his back and I was doing figure eights in a paddock.
Hmm.
Um, it was incredible, and I would take him out in the bush trails, which are endless up this way. And I'm going up a goat's path, and there's absolutely nobody around, nothing. And the only thing around is just saplings and hay, old hay fields. Not really fields, but just somebody had scattered hay seeds. And there's no water. There's nothing really pretty or picturesque. And when I turned the corner, I saw a. You can see them at Costco. You know those benches, those wooden benches with the
Mm.
wrought iron handles or armrests that are really skinny. They're in
Yeah.
outside lawn furniture. So I saw that, and right beside that was a blue toy steel baby carriage. And inside that baby carriage was a Raggedy Ann doll missing an ear. Nothing was weather beaten. The doll looked like it was brand new, except it was missing an eye. I got off of Wilson, and I had a dog, a mastiff at the time. His name was Buttercup. And I sat at that bench and I lost it because I had just lost two granddaughters. Um, Lorna lasted 7 hours and Lily lasted three. And because I'm a
Sorry.
single dad or was a single dad at the time, I had to remain strong for my daughter. Uh, so I thought. And I lost it. And that horse took 2 steps forward, rested his snout on my cheek, and didn't move for 15 minutes.
Hmm.
And when I went back 2 or 3 days later on that same trail, those things weren't there. And I still can't explain it. And it follows the philosophy, whereas you just accept it. And if you continue to question what's presented to you by the spirits or by the creator, then they have a tendency to go away. Because how many times have we all helped people and all they do is question you, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And it gets to the point where you just don't want to help anymore because your intentions are constantly being questioned.
Hmm.
So you just accept it and you move on and get ready for for the next round.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's an amazing thing with animals. You know, they sense you. You know, they know you're sad. They they're happy when they're happy. You know, it's my grandmother. She also said like, yeah, the dogs they have feelings. That you hurt it, you get mad at it. It gets sad. You know, it cries when it's sad when it misses you. And you know, I was kind of wondered about that until I started having pets of my own. Then you'll see them. You know, you'll see them when they're happy, sad, and stuff like that. It's an amazing thing. These four-legged beings that run around here. You know, you
But
call our
the
pets and
best
friends.
four-legged, like the best four-legged ones, is probably the horse because I used to have my own horse, and as a kid, I was always really introverted,
Mhm.
and I didn't really hang out with much kids. And when they introduced me to my horse was the same thing. Um, my horse wasn't social with the other horses, so he and I both got along. So it was basically telepathic communication from there. From a very young age, I always grabbed the horse by his whole face and just speak to it. With my mind saying, I love you, I miss you, how you doing? Just
Yep.
introducing myself. And then, like as I came into a adult, I always kept that no matter what horse, what ranch I was at. I would always, because I used to do horse tours in Miami Valley back in the day, the horse tours, and I would grab the horse and then just connect my forehead to forehead and just try to maintain the eye contact, and just say, hey, let's have a good ride. I'm not evil. You can see my eyes. You can see my heart. We're okay. We're cool.
Mm.
I'm cool. You're cool. let's go have a good time. Then I would
Hmm.
saddle the horse and I would talk to it, because I know that's how you would choose your horse.
Yep.
If you're a social person, then go get yourself a social horse. And if you're an introverted person, go study the horse. And if you see a horse that's off by itself, then that horse is for friendship with two-legged because they're awkward themselves. We're
Mhm.
awkward. So, two-legged and four-legged usually becomes best friends all the time, especially a horse.
Hmm.
But
There
yeah, I
was
thought
a
I'd share that.
no, thank you. We had a teaching once where before before first contact, the Ashnavik people had the ability to talk to animals and communicate, and we've lost that. Not only from um, this point in time, but even how can I put this? Even those who pursue something beyond spiritual lost it. They've lost that
Yeah.
trust.
Hmm.
And how many people do you know that
Mhm.
would prefer a Porsche or a diamond ring over to getting a closer relationship with your environment, your land that you step on, or the trees that talk to you?
Well,
And
that's the
one of my favorite um, uh, poets is Chief Dan George when he talks about the forests. They talk to me, and it's true. And you go walking in the bush, and there was actually a study done in Finland where if you're anxious or show any type of sleep inability or insomnia, within 3 days of walking or being around pine trees, your electrical chemical uh, buildup changes back to what you feel comfortable with, and you're able to sleep. It brings back balance.
hmm.
You can't get that within a city breathing in fumes of carbon monoxide or touching
Right.
concrete.
Yeah.
You need that reconnection with a living, breathing earth. And by far, I'm not a tree hugger. No, God, no. I think they should
Yeah.
leave Greta wherever she wherever she sails to.
Yeah, that's just
It's like, yeah.
your
Again, people can take it to extremes, right? So uh, there's a
your
balance.
there should be, there should be a balance in this life,
Mm.
especially with us and nature. We're meant to be in nature. We're meant to be outside.
Yep.
And it's we're meant to play in the water. We're meant to climb the trees and we're laugh and not to say too much, but some of these. I would go back home and I would see the tree that we used to play on as kids, and it's still there. And I would call that tree my friend. Which
Hmm.
is a really odd thing to say, but just looking back, like wow, I grew up. That tree's still there. So
I get the same whenever I smell sweetgrass, and I'll be walking in the bush. And to be honest with you, I could be peeing on it. I wouldn't know what it looks like, but I smell it, and I'm brought right back to a sweat lodge where I feel absolute
right.
peace. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Take your shoes off and walk around in some grass.
Hmm.
So
Soil in between them
it's all it
toes.
takes.
Real quick, guys. Let me
Mhm.
read these viewers real quick. And we'll continue again. Little Wolf C13 says, Yay, got the shout out. Thanks, Don and Darren. Hey, you're
Hey,
welcome,
what's
Little
up,
Wolf.
Wolf?
Nivea's Angel. Hello, y'all from AZ. What's up, Nivea's Angel? AZ Lyman 47. I made it. Sorry you're competing with the NFR. Choose wisely, AZ Wiseman, AZ Lineman. Mort Ali. Hello. Hey, what's up, Mort Ali? Assalamu alaikum. Um, Nivea's Angel. I was told there are pain eaters. I was told they are pain eaters. Hmm. Wait, I can't remember which ones. Oh, it's talking about horses. Let's see here.
Yeah.
A horse won't cheat on you. No, that's true right there. Nivea's angel, they are connected to us, all animals. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Nivea's angels, diamonds and gold mean nothing. Oh yeah, that's for sure right there. Diamond and
Yep.
gold. All right,
Can't eat
Jim.
it.
Oddly enough,
Comment. Sometimes we get really behind on comments. Sorry, but go
Okay.
ahead.
oddly enough, I was at a place called Willisville Mountain. It's in between Sudbury and Manitoulin Island, and it's where the what's it called? The different shields. In one, you've got the Cambrian Shield, which is around my area in Sudbury, and then you've got Manitoulin, which used to be a ancient ocean, and you could walk all over the place and find fossils of fish and plants. But I was with my son at the time, and we were just walking the trails. He went off to play with his toy soldiers, and I'm sitting there looking at this mountain range, and there was a golden eagle that kept circling us, and it was so close I could see its eyes, which I later found when that was my spirit name. Ah, there must have been a connection there. It
Hmm.
was incredible. Uh, Even to this day, you just something like I said, you just gotta take a deep breath and go, okay, let's go with it and see what happens. Uh,
Mm.
Well, you're being scattered out, I would say. They
yeah,
found you found your place, you know. So
yep.
that's always a good thing. You found your place. So, uh, going back with these shadow beings. Was that the first time you seen one, or were there other incidents like this growing up in your youth? You know.
That was the first one was when I was about 5, and then after that, it was you would just be walking, and all of a sudden something would appear and then gone again. And oddly enough, my kids, when my daughter and my son were walking from coming back from a pool, they said, "Dad, you wouldn't believe what we saw." Okay, what was it? It was a black shadow, and it was just like a blob. And my daughter said it just went from kitchen window to kitchen window, and that was in a townhouse area. So
Hmm.
she said we followed it for like 5 houses, and then when there was a break in the houses, it just disappeared. And all you can tell them is that number one, if it confronts you, there's no reason to be afraid of it, because fear is actually what feeds it, right? That's
All right.
why we were taught with
Yep.
Wendigo, um, or even with your skinwalker. If you talk about
Mhm.
it, it gives it more power, and that
Yeah.
power causes it to strengthen, and then causes you to be more fearful, and that goes on and on and on. What I see in that too is a lot of people see the economic benefit or value of that, and they actually encourage it. So uh, whenever we're talking about Wendigo, I've heard stories where it was just a child or a tale to keep your children in line. Don't go out in the bush because Wendigo's there. And I've actually talked to other people where they said, "Yeah, we saw it," and it's
Well,
it's it's a hard distinction between, excuse me, what we call a night spirit, which is there to chase away Wendigo, and actually Wendigo itself. So because I was just told don't
uh,
bother with it, I never even pursued any followings for it. So or any
mm,
type of description. I'd rather be happy with the pleasantries of walking with a creator in the spirits.
One
right.
second here. One
These
second here. My buddy Rod, remember last episode? Darren, he said that
mm,
when the Wendigos come or Sasquatch come, they would ask the little people to come and help. Kind of like push them away. Is
mm,
that like what he meant? Like you ask the spirit of the night to kind of ward off Wendigo? It's like the same deal.
Yeah, same deal. You offer tobacco, and you ask that night spirit to chase away anything within the shadows. But my
mm.
experience with little people, It was close to that Willisville Mountain, and I'm taking pictures. I bought a new camera, and I'm taking pictures of the dogs, and I'm taking pictures of Lake Huron or Georgian Bay. And you know that sense when you feel as if you're being watched? It was incredible. And you're always looking over your shoulder. So I didn't hear any voices. I didn't see them, but there wasn't a wind. There was no breeze whatsoever, nothing. And I'm walking up this trail where it's completely abandoned. I am the only car in the driveway. Excuse me. And I've got two old English Mastiffs. If anybody was around, they would have just wagged their tail and went up to them or found them, right? So I'm walking underneath a maple tree, and it was just a sapling, so it wasn't that big. I felt a branch knock my sunglasses off the top of my head. And these were expensive Armani sunglasses. Why I bought them, I have no idea. I just bought them for myself for Christmas. And I hunted a good 6 or 8 hours looking for those sunglasses within the general area, and nothing. So finally it got dark, and I had to go. I was an hour and 40 minutes away from my home. So I'm sitting having a Subway sandwich, contemplating what happened. So I called up Herb, and he said, it sounds like little people. So go back with a gift, bring candy. So I did, and then leave it at the area where your sunglasses disappeared. So what I did was I bought dollar store children's sunglasses, and I said out loud, I said, I admire your skill and your ability to knock the sunglasses off my head, but they're so big that your clan is going to make fun of you because you look silly, and because they're too big. You're going to look like Bug Eyes, and who wants a spirit name named Bug Eyes? Nobody. So I said, leave the sunglasses on my camera case, and I'll leave the other sunglasses right beside it, and I did. Now, this is like a $5,000 camera setup that I bought. And had anybody been there, they would have stolen it, right? I took the camera with me, but I still had 4 lenses in it and all the other batteries and other stuff. So I left the sunglasses. I went back, and the toy sunglasses were gone. I looked around, and I got screwed over again because my sunglasses weren't on top of the sunglass or on top of the camera case. But within 3 or 4 feet on a limestone rock was my sunglasses. And they were perfectly folded and put down so they wouldn't be scratched. Now, I had walked around that area 5 or 6 times, and there was no sunglasses. We're taught that little people are helpful, but they're also playful. Just don't piss them off. And then they can be very destructive, let's say. So they're
very mischievous.
Yeah, they can
mischievous.
Be. But when they're little human beings, right? And we've all got our own little personalities and traits. And some of us are idiots, and some of us are helpful, and some of us are practical jokers, like myself.
Oh yeah. I got that in common with you.
Yeah.
1 second here. Nivea's Angel. I will watch this later. Thanks for another show, gentlemen. Have a great have to run. Hey, drive safe, Nivea.
Stay safe.
BCast 33. He's from Quebec. Is that right?
I was born in Quebec. I'm from Northern Ontario, Sudbury.
Okay. Right
which is about 3 hours east of Sioux, Michigan.
Oh, nice. Maddie the Baddie. Hello, yachts. What's up, Maddie?
Oh, what's up?
Have you guys ever done any investigations?
Very mischievous. Very mischievous. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Have you guys done any investigations around, let's say, the Custer's Last Stand or Little Bighorn or Wounded Knee?
We are not those I don't think we're those natives out that way. We're more of the
That's the
desert.
Crow.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
the
that's the Crow. The Crow people, they actually that's who they go to with everything. With everything, because they say the little people makes the grass grow and the water flow, and it makes everything, the trees grow and everything. So they help them in their time of need, and that's their go-to, the Crow people, the little people. I have yet to get a Crow native on here to further dive into that topic, which I'm really, really interested in. Every tribe seems like they have a certain society where they communicate with the little people,
mhm.
and I am pretty sure we have our own little society that does the same thing, but everything is kept sacred. And Rodney Williamson on Lodge Tales, they have a society as well, the Little People Society in the Blackfeet tribe. So it's a
Here we're
topic
told
we have
that
yet to
they
get in deep into. Hmm?
Here we're told that they live in the rocks and they live in the trees. Like not up in the trees, but within the trees. It's almost like they're in a
Yeah.
portal and they can come in and
Yep.
out whenever they want to. There
Yeah,
was
we all
a fellow on it's called Manitoulin Island Unexplained, and there's a lot of UFOs and ghosts. There's a lot of also First Nations. And one fellow said he was walking. He was part of the Medewan Lodge, which I don't know too much about because they won't allow non-natives in it. Um, they do a lot of shaking tent ceremonies. I've been to one of those. Um, that's where I experienced the spirit of Bigfoot or Sabe. Um, but from that, he said he was walking collecting birch bark because they believe that within birch bark, or I'm sorry, within driftwood, reside animal spirits. And then when you look closely, you can actually see the image of whatever is presenting itself. And he said he was sitting there having a smoke, and one little person came out, saw him plain as day. The little person looked at him, and he walked right back into the tree.
Hmm.
Which
Yeah,
I
these
don't
these
go for it. If that's what's happened to you and you saw it, who am I to judge or who am I to question? I may have questions about what was he wearing or what was the purpose of him showing himself, but I don't have any doubt.
for sure,
Yep.
just like this Sasquatch, people see them. A group of people see them,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes with a lot of questions with itself. And the whites, they get their first hype off that was it Bill Gibson video filming, and that's
Yeah.
that's pretty much the go to. But
Well, even a bit before
Native,
that, with who's that guy, Sir, somebody who did Everest, the first Everest
yeah,
climb.
they have the footprint, right? The
Yeah, the
Yeti.
footprints. Yeah.
Yep. And these Native Americans, they we all have stories. They've been around forever,
Mhm.
and
Well, up
and
here, they're protectors of the water and of the forest.
that
Hmm.
and that's the best thing about them. They're for us. They're medicine. They carry medicine with them. It comes with teaching. And on my side of the reservation, they um, come with a bit of forcing. You see one. I was always told that a great change, going to happen to you. In the area, and sure enough, it did. It might have took some time, but this Sasquatch, yeah, so as we call them, the Navajo Nation. If it wasn't for the encounter that we had, I wouldn't have met Don, and this podcast probably uh, wouldn't have gone the same way. So, for that, wherever this Yates is,
Mm.
uh, yeah, thank you. A lot of stuff's coming from it, man. I tell you this, that I never thought I would be um, talking live. Don and I were talking this week, and we're like, dang, bro, like I never thought I would be on Spotify. You know, people listening to us. And we're meeting a lot of really interesting people, and it probably wouldn't have happened if that Bigfoot, didn't appear. So
Mhm.
to that, um, a lot of stuff, a lot of positive stuff's coming our way, and we're talking to a lot of different nations out there, and uh, each episode is comes with its own blessing, and it's amazing. It just gets really amazing nowadays. Every
Well,
Sunday.
more people are more
You
open to
guys,
it.
yeah,
I mean, just
yeah.
what
Nowadays, mhm,
30 years ago, what we believed in was considered unlawful, and we'd end up in jail.
Right,
for real, you're
right,
smoking the
right.
devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
you guys need to watch go on Hulu, try to get Hulu and look up Blood and Myth. It's about the UPEC and the little people, and it ties in with the little people, murder, crime, so it has a little bit of all that mystery
Mm,
involved. And one of the encounters of the actor that became a murderer, they told him, the little people told him that you guys need to speak your language again. You need to practice your culture again. You need to sing your songs again. That's one of the that's what they told him. So I'm just like,
mm,
Was
wow.
he a murderer before he met the little people?
No, no, after he
Oh,
encountered
really?
them, and they you got to watch the whole thing. They kind of they mess with him. They played tricks on
uh,
him. He was an alcoholic before, so I guess he started like like the seven sins, you know what I mean, like you were saying, the
Yeah.
seven teachings. He started to show pride and access, like gluttony, uh partying, drinking, and just liking all that attention, and that made him a huge target for the little people that he encountered while he was fishing. And then
wow.
they influenced him to strangle his mom. And then whenever the police asked him how did they strangle him, he just said, "You guys would not believe how it happened." He said it was the supernatural force that took place that night in that room. That's all he kept saying. He still denies killing his mother, but I
There,
don't doubt it.
there was a court case that happened back in the mid 80s on Manitoulin Island. And the guy murdered his neighbor or somebody within the community. But he explained it in a way that the judge said this is culturally acceptable, and they let
Mhm.
him off. Now, his argument was that he believed that the man whom he killed was possessed by the bear spirit. And when the bear spirit becomes so powerful, it could overwhelm that individual. And if you notice how a bear walks, it walks with the front leg and the rear leg on the left side. It goes out at the same time. And when it works on the right, it goes the front and the back go out at the same time. So it's basically like two people walking together, walking upright, one right after the other. And he said the bear spirit, he did everything that he could traditionally to rid this man of being possessed by the bear spirit. Finally, he got a sacred spear. He had it cleansed and blessed by various elders who were well known in this area. And he ended up stabbing this guy and killing him, and the judge let him go. Cultural awareness, right? Right up here in in Canada, anyways, we have restorative justice. So First Nations have a lot of power on sentencing,
Oh yeah.
and
Mm,
it overrides much of the colonial. I hate that word, but
Yeah.
the imperial court system, which is more punitive than it is restorative.
Mhm.
yep. Well,
It was in Canada. It's called Royal Court, right? Something like that.
Yeah, we have Westminster Court, so but in
uh,
Quebec you have Napoleonic Court, which is you're guilty until you're proven innocent. Here we have innocence until proven. It still costs you tens of thousands of dollars to prove your innocence, but It's three different justice systems within Canada.
Wow, I would have never guessed that.
Mm.
Well,
But murder
I
is
know.
murder, and rape is rape,
Right.
and robbery is robbery.
Right.
But
Mhm.
the sentencing varies. When you come from a dysfunctional family, although it's got its limits to its excuse, you still know the difference between right and wrong. But if you've never been taught about consequence, or you've never been taught that, 'cause I don't know about your communities, but in a lot of Anishinaabe communities, there's no sense of possession. What your neighbor has is yours. What do you need 5 cars for? One's mine. So it goes on to that, right? And it was completely um, competitive against Western types of justice. So it caused for a lot of problems and a lot of misunderstanding. But now we pretty well addressed all that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. It's a lot of
But
work
we're
on
going all
both
over the
ends,
place,
Canada and yeah, it's a lot of work between America and Canada still.
Yeah,
At the
well,
end of
we've
the
all got
day.
our problems. We've all got our
Oh
problems,
yeah.
and so long as
Mhm.
one thing that bothered me the most is that here I am I'm not Anishinaabeg, unless the Anishinaabeg went from Northern Ontario to Scotland. I have no connection whatsoever. And I felt embarrassed or somewhat ashamed because I knew more and I followed more than many of the kids in communities didn't have a clue. So how could I used to work with troubled kids, and a lot of the troubled kids were First Nations from remote communities. Um, I'd be giving them teachings. And how do I, as a white guy, for no better lack of terms, be teaching somebody about his culture? And it was brought to my attention. He said, when you look at that medicine wheel, every color is divided equally. There's no dominance. So within that medicine wheel, you have as much right and as much ability to learn about the creator and about traditional ways as a black guy, a yellow guy, or a red guy. Okay, that makes sense because we've all got strengths and weaknesses, right? And we can, so long as our intention is to help and not hurt, which is basically the philosophy. Okay, that makes sense to me. So I felt a little less intrusive or less intrusive into somebody else's culture that wasn't mine. But these kids were completely, they've been around alcoholism, sexual abuse, parental abuse, physical abuse. So whatever they could grasp at, here it is. And I've had kids call me up 20 years after the fact where I used to teach them, they thank you. If it wasn't for you, I'd be dead in a ditch. So I have purpose.
Hmm.
Well,
But
thank
we're
you
going all
for
over the place,
your
right?
work.
We went from spirituality from this. Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. This is the radio, and this is
Well,
covers all aspect, because
Yeah.
not a lot of people understand the growing up on reserve in Canada or reservation in America, because we deal with a lot of that, like trauma. That's what alcoholism is everywhere, but what gets passed down is trauma,
yeah.
generational trauma from the
Yeah.
last generation on. So that's what one of the huge factors, huge key that really really does it. It's just the generational trauma.
Mm.
And thank you for the work you've done. And gonna pause
But
you real quick. Let's catch up with the viewers really fast. Uh Little Wolf 13 Lodge Tale story about the little people. Oh yeah, Rod. He told us about the little people last few weeks ago. Yeah, that was a
Mhm.
few weeks ago. Thank you, Son Dragon, for welcoming everyone and being friendly to everyone. Thank you, brother. Noel 3069. What's the movie on Hulu? Blood and Myth. Blood and Myth on Hulu. Very great movie to watch.
if you ever get a
Let's
chance,
see
watch the
here.
movie Smoke Signals.
Oh yeah, that's
I love that. And actually, they made a remake, eh?
they made a
Hello,
remake.
Andrea.
They made a
Nah,
part two.
I think that's AI. I think it's the AI one.
No.
Andrea Nez 6465. Yeah, hello, Andrea.
Hey, what's up?
Um, I
She's got a
seen the
pretty
picture of
smile.
it. I think it's AI because it has a it doesn't look real. So I was looking at it, I was like, no, they're trying to fool us. Noel 3069, thank you. Blood and Myth got that. Thank you. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Speaking of like you were saying ghosts earlier, let's bring this up right here. This is the best that I can do.
Oh yeah, that was taken in 2007 at a friend of mine. I actually have two good friends. One friend, Mike, I grew up with. He bought the house, and it was he who took that picture, or his wife did. And now I got another friend who bought the house off of him. I came from a small community called Coppercliff, and there's like 4,000 people, so everybody knew each other growing up, right? And when Stan moved in, they would see this little girl going up and down the stairs. They would see her in the backyard when they had a barbecue, and the little girl or the kids playing in the backyard would go to Stan and say, "Who's that little girl in the corner? She's not saying anything. We asked her to play with us, but she won't talk to us." So, and oddly enough, if you look at that picture, you can tell because this was taken during Halloween. If you look at it closely, you can see an old-fashioned snowsuit underneath her and the old-fashioned galoshes, those big rubber boots that kids used to wear in the 20s and 30s. And Mike's mom, we lived close to a creek. It was so full of pollution and mining waste that it was orange. It was awful. This little girl, a little girl, I don't know if it was her or not, but she drowned in it. And they rushed her from the creek to Mike's parents' place and tried to resuscitate her, but she was already blue. So they couldn't, and they figured this is the little girl.
Wow,
And
that is.
she'll, eh?
I was
Sorry, go
gonna
She'll
ahead.
say
go
this.
up
Sorry.
and down the stairs. She'll talk to kids in the middle of the night. And I don't know what it is that ghosts want to appear in the nighttime, but they were waking up Mike's two little boys, and they would say, "Mom, can you tell the little girl to stop bugging us? We want to go back to bed. We have school in the morning." And she wanted to play. And
Oh,
Stan, who's got a little chihuahua, and I hate that dog with a passion. It's a Nazi. It's horrible. And
Nazi.
it's horrible. I mean, I got mastiffs, right? And they don't bark, they don't growl, they don't do anything. And this thing, if you knock on the door, it wants to go through the door. It's got little man syndrome. And Stan's wife and his daughters will dress it up in tutus and ballerina crap, and it's no wonder the dog's pissed. But in the morning, they'll see the dog's toys or the dresses beside three dog treats. And they figure it's this little ghost who's playing with the dog. And because the dog treats are in the kitchen in a cupboard and the door is closed, nobody touches it. And the toys and the tutus are locked in a chest. And these things are opened up and laid down beside each other on the living room floor.
You know what? This
wow.
this picture is
Okay.
actually a really good picture. You can actually see the fabric
Yep.
details. You know, it's you can see the folds in the clothes,
Yeah.
uh, the hair. You know,
Time.
it's this is
Now, this
actually
was
really
taken
good.
from an old 8mm video camera because it was back in 2007. And Mike's wife, who took the picture, she said, "All I saw was just an orb in the carport. And then when I
What?
turned the video into stills, this came up."
Well, you could
That,
see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. You
yep.
know the
Even the
basal,
curls in her hair.
right? That
Yeah.
is. I was just looking at that too, and y- there's a lot of. You can even
I
see the ears. I would
Yep.
say.
I see too. You know what? When a child now, I assume she's about 6 or 5 or 7, between that age, because she's still got that milk tummy.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
and she definitely has
That's crazy.
bangs going across, and you see the hair. This is
Mhm.
Yeah.
actually
Trying
really
to pull
amazing.
that
Amazing
But
picture.
the
eyebrow.
eyes, you
Yeah.
can see through them.
Yeah. He's almost kind of transparent too on her left side,
Yep.
on the right
Now, if I
side.
saw
Yeah.
that in a carport, I'd shit my pants. I don't care if she's a little girl or not. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, this picture is kind of weird. It's off-settling, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely.
proof. It's proof.
Yep. Yep. It's really a really good picture. If it wasn't anything else, this
Yep.
could it looks more solid if anything. But
What makes me laugh is Stan is like 320 pounds and 6'5", and this ghost has riled him so much that when he shuts off the light in his bedroom, he jumps into his bed, and his wife laughs at him because he doesn't want anything to grab him, grab his feet underneath the bed.
hmm,
And
Yeah,
what
he
gets me
must.
too is Stan is an atheist, but somehow he's comfortable with living with a ghost and knowing he's living with a ghost and being an atheist. I don't know.
right? Yeah. Well, makes him wonder, huh? Maybe.
Yeah, I find
Well,
that a lot of atheists are more anti-religion or institutional religion than they are about anti-creator, anti-God.
hmm,
And I also find a lot of atheists, they it takes on a religion of its own. They want to disprove you rather than just say, oh, okay, you believe what you want to believe, and I'll believe what I want to believe and walk away. No, they got
oh
to
yeah,
prove you wrong. You can't. No matter how much you try, it's basically your own personal experience and your own faith, right?
mm,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
some people just want to
This
argue,
is
So uh, it's just the way it is, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same way afterwards. But uh,
well, the reason
even
why I asked about the if you guys have ever done any investigations in Wounded Knee or Custer's Last Stand, they've done a lot of investigations at residential schools. I don't know if you guys have them up your way, but in Canada, they would take children away from communities and take the savage out of them and put them into a school where they were abused or killed. A lot were educated, but their culture was completely stripped. Whereas if you spoke your language, you were beaten. And the Catholic, there was one up around Spanish where my elder Herb was thrown into. He said they had the Jesuits, the Brotherhood,
mm,
and whenever the kid would speak the language, they would force him to sit on a steel chair and electrocute him with a car battery.
wow,
And it got to the point where whenever they had dignitaries come in to inspect the school, that was a form of entertainment. They would actually do it. And I've been sitting around some of the healing circles where there's still grandparents who experience that. It just makes you sick what they would do to a child.
yep,
And at a lot of these residential schools that were investigated by these paranormal groups, they see a lot of ghostly children wandering the streets or wandering the hallways and such. And I've been taught that spirits in Ashnavik who come back as ghosts or are connected to a certain area is because they are lost. They haven't got the connection to what they've accomplished in their life. So if you feel as if you haven't accomplished what you needed to, or some type of a trauma
mm,
where you lost your life, they'll hang around.
yeah. These boarding school, the, there was so much evil stuff going on in these boarding schools. It's gotten to the point where they would kind of fear the cross. They would fear it because these the people that were carrying it were wicked people.
Mm.
And
And they justified it by their belief in God.
right,
We can do
and
whatever we want to because God's with us.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
probably
it's
not
a
the
sexually repressed individual who's beating up on children or having sex with children.
right, and it's disgusting, and it's that's going to be my one of my goals in this is to bring awareness to this, even this Jesus, this Christ being the man. Uh, 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 I'm more than sure he has his judgment for these people that did such things like these, and for the Native American. I totally agree with how they feel about it because I see it, and I know it's there, and uh, it needs to bring more awareness to it, and these boarding schools too. Also, man, I hear so much stuff about these boarding schools too. People they would actually feed sick children to the other kids.
Oof.
Because they didn't want to feed them. Why feed a Native American? We feed yourself. That's that mentality that uh, the Native American culture is dealing with, and uh, it's a healing that's going to take some time, a lot of time to deal with, as a people, and it's something that needs to be more talked about. They're
Well,
bringing up graves.
talking about it, uh, it opens debate and it opens. It's not that many people are uh, arrogant about it; they're ignorant about it. They don't
Mm,
know. And
right, right,
if there's also one has to be careful. We learned that up this way. You have to be careful not to blame because that forces resentment and counter resentment,
mm,
and then people just end up hating each other. Um, so you need an open dialogue, but you also got to say, I understand this is not you. It was your great grandparents or your grandparents that did this, and even what we did up here, and I'm sure that we call Americans the long knives, right? That's how they settle
mm,
disputes with with their long knives, and they would pit one group of people against another group of people for political favor or for trade or for economic or even for alcohol. And if you're, how can I put this? If you're going to start blaming one group, you've got to blame them all. But we're all equally guilty because we're all human beings, right? We're all part of that circle.
mm,
In Canada, from 1950s till 1990, the government in Canada was injecting First Nation kids that were in these residential schools with diphtheria, smallpox, typhoid for medical research. Even though they had the ability to cure them, they wouldn't. They recorded how they died. And they would just
yeah,
tell the parents, your child passed away, we don't know why. And
yep,
it's been
that
documented. And if we don't document it and talk about it, it could happen again.
or uh, that's where Hitler got uh, his plan. The whole what would you call it? One world, one word, one man being. I forgot the word for it, but they did the study, and that's where he got his idea for what he did and justified was by the Americans and the eugenics
Yeah.
project, them sterilizing women without them noticing or without them without their consent, and
I don't know about
injecting
the
them.
States, but in Canada and South Africa got it from us how to identify First Nations by male lineage or how was it now? It's your grandparent. If your grandparent was native, then you're native. The Nazis did that with the Jews. That's how they identified Jews, and we copied it. And then the South Africans with apartheid copied it from us. I don't know about the states how you guys are identified, um, But to learn from somebody so evil is just, it's just horrible.
Right?
It doesn't say a lot for humanity.
No, no, don't.
I had
Me.
there's a woman, it was actually Herb's wife. She's got her doctorate in native dysfunctional families and
Mm,
how to counter that. And I asked, because um, my daughters and my son went through a miserable divorce, and it was a child custody thing.
mm,
Excuse me. And it worried me that we believe that it's 7 generations that are affected by what the parents do or what the right. So with residential
yeah.
schools, that's where I took it from. So I've got 7 generations that I've got to worry about within my own family. And Herb's wife said, no, it can be 7 generations if we don't address it. However, it can stop at one when you recognize the problem and you yourself deal with it. Yeah, makes sense. So there's always hope, right? It doesn't have to take forever. It starts with you. It starts with us, and that's how we
Mm,
make change. Cool.
yeah, that's communication. Communication with yourself, and knowing your flaws, knowing yourself, and knowing what you can and what you
Yep.
need to
And
uh,
I
better help on.
remember um, one of the teachings that we had in the sweat was about communication. It's got communication is how we have a relationship with anybody, whether it's a store clerk, our spouse, our parents, you name it. Now, that sense of communication is extremely strong, but extremely weak. And we can easily break that link with certain steps. If we stop talking, we stop listening. When we stop listening, we stop caring. When we stop caring, become frustrated and apathetic. And when that happens, we start to hate. And when you start to hate somebody, you can justify anything upon another human being that's absolutely vulgar. And it all starts with a simple, "Hey, how was your day?"
Right.
And listen for the response. Well,
Uh, we're I was just we're meant to talk. We're meant to interact with each other, and it's really a unique thing when you meet someone with the different aspect of life. And as for me, I beginning to talk with a lot of different Native Americans out there, which is really good. And you get to see you get to hear and see them. And they have their stories, and you can sit there and you have the ability to laugh with them, share a joke, and just have everybody just get along. And it's a good thing. It's really good. It's a beautiful thing to
hmm.
laugh with other people, another set of people out there. Um, and that's one thing that I'm really happy to do on this podcast, besides talking about the spooky stuff. And it's just the ability, it gave me a chance to talk and communicate with other people like yourself,
Hmm.
and if it's that communication that you're able to pass on knowledge, uh, you're able to strengthen someone's mind, encourage them, to be like, yeah, you can do it, do it, you can do it. Here's how you can do it, or here if you need help, that's the whole purpose of communication. What do you
It's part of the 7 teachings. It takes courage to communicate. It takes courage to have your feelings.
Yeah, and you got to talk. You can either bless or curse someone with your mouth, your tongue. Um,
Words have
uh,
power.
yes, they do. And they say sticks and stones can break bones, but words can never hurt me. That's a pretty straight up lie.
They can scar you.
People,
Yeah. And
yeah, they'll scar you. There's a lot
once
of
that
hate.
word is, I was taught that the word is like an arrow. Once you let it go and pull it out of its quiver, you can never bring it back. Once it's
Yep,
hit its target, there's nothing you can do.
it's
And
the damage is
often
done.
when you apologize and you repeatedly do it or say it, then that apology is as empty as water, or not water, as empty as a water bucket without water. So it's it's again, it's also about touch. I was taught, which is it it's completely different when my being the dominant society, when we shake somebody's hand, and I was always taught this. That's why I don't like my son-in-law, because he shakes my hand like a dead fish, and it pisses me off. But with Ashtanabic people, when you shake somebody's hand, all you do is touch. It's because my focus and my attention is on what you have to say and how you present yourself to me rather than the handshake. And for us, the handshake is more dominant, right? A firm handshake means respect. And it's kind of like putting somebody down on their knees. And it took me forever to learn that lesson. And finally, I've got it. Whenever I'm around Ashnavik people, that's how you shake hands. That's how you greet somebody. You simply put your hand out and it's touched. Yeah, okay. Because I respect you enough not to intimidate you or not to force myself upon you. No, I like that. Again, it's part of the philosophy, right?
You know, it's a good thing. You know, people, you know, they find their ways in life, and as for you, you know, you found your calling, your way of life through the seven teachings. You know, and you know that's
Right.
always
You
a
guys
good.
hear me now?
Right,
All right,
yeah,
Kevin.
we got you.
Oh, okay, finally. All right. Sorry.
It's that you know, it's a teaching, good teachings. You know, like you said, you don't need to be the same race or the same color. You know, good teachings is it's good. It's good all the way around this world. You know, this Turtle Island. You know, just giving someone some good water is always a good thing. You know, so
Isn't it strange though? Now they're finding out that your words can.
Hey, Jim.
Yep.
What other paranormal stories do you got for us before time's in?
Sabe, I
Yeah,
was
oh,
at a
yeah,
Sabe.
yeah. Go for it.
I was at
Yeah,
a shaken
if you
tent
can tell us
ceremony,
some. Okay.
um, and I'm sitting there after my session within the shaking tent ceremony, and the tradition is that you bring your question or your request or whatever to the shaking tent ceremony, where the elder will act as a between yourself and the spirit. And I asked my question, and it was his response was completely oblivious to me. I still don't know what it meant to this day. But I went back to my chair. Now, within the chicken tent ceremony was a community center, and it was shaped like a horseshoe. So there's the windows are all closed, and the doors are all shut. It's completely dark in there, and there's three tiers of chairs around the within the horseshoe shape, and above that is a hallway. So a friend of mine is standing on the hallway, and I'm sitting down. And he said he looked over his shoulder, and a light, almost like a plasma ball, he said, was coming straight at him and actually threw him into the wall. It was so powerful. And he saw it come right over to me. And it was then, um, I can't be specific that actually foretold what I'm going to share with you now. Is that I'm looking down at the floor trying to contemplate what this elder had said to me. And I looked over and I saw a thick, hairy set of legs right beside me. I mean, thick. And I slowly looked up and I saw muscle. I saw a tummy that's all hair. I saw arms that were the size of tree trunks. And I looked over and I saw shoulders with no neck, just a head. And the kindest, calmest eyes I have ever seen. And I'm looking there in awe. And Sabe, or you guys, I don't know what you call Bigfoot.
Ito.
Up here, pardon me?
Yeah, Ito.
Okay, we call him Sabe up here. So he's looking at me, and he said something, and I'm sorry, I don't understand your language. And that's what I said. I'm sorry, I don't understand your language. He threw his head back and laughed. And when he looked at me again, all of a sudden I was on sitting with him on a wooden, I'm sorry, on a flat stone gray fence, and we're just overlooking a valley, and it's a full moon. And he said something to me again, and again I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand the language. And he cupped his hands together, and he showed me what he had, and it was an eagle whistle, and he blew it.
Oh.
And then I've been looking for an eagle whistle, and we believe that if an eagle whistle is, if you're intended to get it, you'll eventually find it, or you'll somehow it will reach you. That's how I got my pipe. That's how I got my turtle rattle, my drum. Everything just seemed to appear without me asking for it, but knowing that I was going to get it. So he blew the whistle and cupped his hands back again after he showed it to me, and we were right back at the chair, or back in the shake and tent ceremony place. And that's again when my friend said, all of a sudden that ball of light that was right beside you all this time just disappeared. And that's what happened with Sabe, because I'm looking at him. I looked down on the floor, and I looked up again at him, and he was gone. And I can't explain what he said, other than I know it was there for comfort and direction. That's all I can tell you. But it was incredible. And here's a guy verifying that he saw a plasma light, and he even told me all of that before I told him about what experience I had with Sabe. Yeah. But again, I've always sought truth, right? I've been on ayahuasca journeys. I've been on peyote. I'll never do that again. I'll never do peyote again. It tastes
So,
like crap.
how was ayahuasca? I hear a lot of bad. I heard some bad negative experience from ayahuasca. Did you see a black serpent or a
I
dragon type
fall.
of deal?
Yeah, the black serpent was there, but she wasn't. She wasn't mean or anything like that. She just showed herself. But I found ayahuasca to be a grandmother spirit, and the peyote to be a harsher grandfather spirit. I mean, I only had 4 teaspoons, and this was part of the American Indian Church that is allowed to
Yeah.
conduct that ceremony within Canada. Ayahuasca you can do from Joe Blow, but I was with a shaman from Peru that came up to Sudbury to conduct the ceremony, and people were doing tea and going around in circles, and then an hour or so later they would do the shroom itself, or the flower itself, and then another time they do jello with peyote inside. So they were pretty well screwed. I mean, I'm looking at people with bug eyes. It was so bad, but they were all. There was only 2 of us that were not First Nations that were there, and it was all done in accordance with tradition. Even though peyote is not part of the Anishinaabe culture, it's where you guys are from, right? But I, my body simply said, you don't need this. The 4 teaspoons was enough. But for every 1 teaspoon of that stuff that I had to have 4 cups of water because it was so awful, the taste. And the elder was saying it's because the spirits were telling you you didn't need it. You didn't have to be there. You were just doing it to experience it. But I talked to a blue piece of wood that was hovering in front of my eyes for 4 hours. And I was getting color flashes 4 days or 5 days after taking that stuff. I really didn't get anything out of it other than whatever I'm doing I'm doing it right. And now the question again is being a parent and being a single dad, you're always questioning yourself, right? Especially if you got their mother who's constantly putting in the propaganda. and you're constantly looking over your shoulder. And I needed reassurance that I was doing a good job. And this block of wood said, "Yeah, you are." But the ayahuasca, a lot of people were purging. That's throwing up, right? Or belching.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
I was good with it. And again, the shaman who was there said it's because you had no evil within you to purge yourself. No, you came with true intent, and you don't have anything to be ashamed of. So nothing came out of your body or your spirit. I experienced death through ayahuasca. I got to talk to people whom passed away that I miss, and I got that reassurance that they were okay. Um, I the death part. The best way I can describe it is that it was almost like I was underneath flowing ice because I saw all the geometrical of a snowflake and ice, and I'm going underneath it. And all of a sudden, I was in a dark limestone cave, and uh, I saw torches. And then from that, I can't even describe who brought me out of there. Other than, do you know those wine or those rum bottles you see from Jamaica that are all different kinds of colors with different yellows, oranges, greens, and it's like a brown blob that's kind of looks like an overweight woman, but it doesn't.
Mm.
That's the
Like
best way.
Sailor Jerry's,
Pardon me?
kind of like the Sailor Jerry bottle type of deal.
I don't even, because I don't drink. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Never mind.
but
I'm
but
trying to
I've seen
remember.
it in the liquor store.
Sounds familiar.
And
Oh.
it's kind of reminds me of an abstract Aunt Jemima. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that grabbed me by the hand and led me into different areas. And I was in a job with oil and gas, and I'm dealing with absolute scum. I mean, these people would shoot their mother for a buck. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But it paid the bills and it gave me what I needed
As
out of
there-
life. So nod and smile while you bend over, right? So I questioned that, and it said, "Don't worry about it. It's just bringing you to where you need to be." Yeah, now I'm comfortable.
Mhm.
So I'm doing well. I also got some indication of what's going on in the future, and that turned out to be true. It was a very very good experience. And again, I don't like throwing up, and I didn't purge. Some idiot brought one of those Tibetan singing bowls, and I thought my head was going to explode. But then the shaman changed their song, and the person stopped the bowl ringing, and everything brought me right back. It was a good. And what people, when you open your eyes after taking it, even though you're still on it, you don't have that fogginess. Your eyes are open. You're wide awake. You talk normally. Everything is fine. And some people were actually talking to the star people. I've only got 10% left on my bar, even though it's plugged in. So I don't know if I leave you, it's not my fault.
Okay.
Oh
Sounds
no.
good. That's
Let's read some of these comments real quick so you can let's see here. All right. Z-Sun Dragon, he's talking about the picture earlier. Looks like a big hand on the floor behind her right hand. Gotta look at that picture again. Kurt
Right.
W75, you're late. I'm late, Don and Darren. Great to see you, gentlemen. Jim, thanks
Hey.
for your time. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So since the time is almost there, do anybody, does anybody have questions for our guest Jim here?
I got a question.
Hello?
Sure.
You guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, but I've only got 8 bars.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. We'll make it last then. So so Jim, take us into it when you took the ayahuasca. How was it getting into that realm to that different realm?
The first time I took it, I've only taken it once, and I'm fine with that. But he gave me about a shot glass, and I have never done drugs other than weed, and I don't even like that because I'm a diabetic, and I have been since the age of 2. So I've had it for 60 years. And marijuana mimics low blood sugar, especially when you're at a point where you can feel as if you're passing out. That's what it reminds me of. So I don't do drugs. Um, and I was apprehensive to have done it, the ayahuasca, until a friend said, suck it up, princess, and just do it. Okay. So he gave me my first ounce, and nothing, absolutely nothing happened. Then maybe an hour later, he said, okay, anybody want more? If it didn't affect you, here's some more. So he said, okay. So I got up and I took another shot glass. And he said, are you ready for the magic carpet ride? And I thought, oh, Christ. Oh, no. But within 20 minutes after taking the second ounce, that's when I experienced the different colors, the different geometrical, like what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Geometrical
Yeah,
images.
geometrics and the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear people talking about that, and they say it kind of resembles. I don't know if you know Tool, the band Tool, their artwork, and it's all geometrics and all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
good
I'm
band.
actually doing a little research on that, the whole DMT stuff too, and all the creatures and all the deities that are in that people see. So
Good topic.
right. Oh yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You
Is
good?
it
Any questions for Jim? Let's see if there are any comments. Okay,
is
anybody out there listening? Okay, right here we got BCast 33. Have you ever heard of Nahanni Valley in northwestern Canada? Any stories?
I think he went out,
Jim?
bro. You lost him.
Oh man! Right, we had a question for him.
All right.
Oh man. Well, at least we got some cool stories from Canada right there.
Yeah,
Oh man! Hopefully
little
more people from Canada come on. That'd be cool. Hear more of the Wendigo, like what Rod was saying, or rip that dog apart. And jeez, man, wow!
yeah, the
Thank you,
whole.
Jim.
Thank you, Jim. You might have to go through this and listen to that, man. Thank you for coming on and telling us your story, your life. A lot of good teachings come out of it too. So thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, when you do listen to this, thank you, Jim, for your time. And we'll just, I guess, we'll just kick back for a little bit, and you should hop on over to that other app I just told you to download a couple days ago because you need to get over 100 friends. And we
Oh
got
yeah,
a follower here from TikTok right here, Little Wolf C13. She says, "Oh, LOL." I know, right when we lost him, but looks like you and I need to look this up right here. Nahanni
yeah.
Valley, northwestern Canada. Nahanni sounds like Dene, huh? Nahanni.
Uh,
Right here. Yes, I'm here. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's where they say the Athabascans and all those people, all those tribes come from down that way. And yeah, other than that though, I think we'll just call it an early night then, huh? You got work tomorrow.
yeah. Got work and the holidays coming up again. I'll probably do a little s- splunking around the house again. Put some batteries in the trail cameras and buy some more the Roku cameras too. Apparently, we got a blind spot that's someone or something came by and started knocking on the doors and it was at a blind spot. So something's out there. Whatever it is, you might have to have 30 cameras out there, all on the ground in the sky. You name it.
I get a
Yeah,
flare
yeah, yeah,
camera.
yeah. Actually, I have one ordered right now. It'll be coming in tomorrow. Actually, um,
Oh,
I
nice.
started looking up the little Zoom audio thing too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh yeah, I need to get one of those. I need
Yeah.
to get one of those. Check out BCast. He says it's Dene, so it's Athabascan. There's
Dene.
tribes up there. Yeah, Dene is like all over northwestern Canada, or
Hmm.
like Athabasca. And Z-Sun Dragon, great show and guest. Oh yeah, yeah. It's always a
Yep.
pleasure to
Thank
meet
you.
new people,
Yeah, it is.
especially from Canada. Yeah. Then right here, BCast comes back. The tribe used to live in that valley, and they disappeared. Years later, the Navajo appeared in North America. Ooh. Yeah, there's stories that they went from that area to the Great Lakes and became a part of the Ojibwe Cree, and then came to the Southwest after that. And then there's stories where the traditional stories goes that Chaco Canyon incident, and we had to split. They sent Navajos to the Northwest Chicago area because of all the stuff that they were doing that got them enslaved. And then then the ones that were enslaved, they got freed and they got sent to the story goes they got sent to Alaska area. So that's why they have a same language up there. There, and the other thing goes that in Navajo, when you say they left that way, they had to go that way, was Alaska. So Alaska, Navajo's Alaska. That means they left and they had to migrate away from us. They went that way. And one of the things goes that if we go over there and if we introduce ourselves, if we say hi, that would mark the beginning of the end of the world because we're not supposed to interact with each other ever again. So I think that's a little too late.
Right. Right. Wow.
Yeah. So it's vice versa in the Navajo cultural aspect. And with the evidence, they did find Navajos. Then they find the Pueblos mixing and creating a whole new blended cultural blending. And they found 2 to 3 campsites where they found Athabascan and Pueblo. Reason why they mixed was because the Spanish came into the area and pushed them out to Kansas area. So they had a combination of Hogan and Pueblo buildings out there. And they also found many of them too in the high mountains of New Mexico. And from that area, they said that they found Hogan and Pueblo style buildings. It's like a combination. And then all around that area, at the bottom of the mountain, there's a Anasazi type dwelling all the way around. And then when they went around that archaeological site on the bottom, they found a lot of skulls all the way around. I guess they found those people that were living on top of the mountain. They had like slings or something because all the skulls had holes inside of them. And they said these people that lived up here, they had to be the Navajos, the ancestral Navajos that were at war with the Anasazis around this area in New Mexico. And this was like 9,000 feet above elevation. And they said these guys perfected growing crops that high up, and they were really skilled at it.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, that's evidence of blending. And like our clans has it too. We're blended. Like I'm Ute, Hopi, Mojave, and then all of us we're all different clans. We're all different pieces put together, and we're all identified as Navajo.
Right.
Pretty strange. Right here. Oh, Crazy Coyote. He's quiet the whole time. Here he is. Crazy Coyote 13. From what I hear, we left the Great Mountains area. Oh yeah, that's what.
Hmm.
Yep. Because we carry that DNA of those ancestors in the Great Mountains. We carry 9%, and Lakota Sioux carry 11% of that DNA from the Great Mountains. Is what I remember reading. Crazy Coyote. Then there was a song that the Polynesian Hawaii sing about their mother. Oh yeah, Changing Woman. She taught us many. She taught us some songs, and she got on the boat to go to the west. And she said she had to be a mother of another people, so she left and she became mother of the Polynesian Hawaii, and possibly
Wow.
pretty cool. BCast 33. Oh yeah, they did the DNA splicing of the Polynesians, and they found out that the Polynesians and Native Americans mixed 10,000 years ago. So that's receipt right there. BCAS 33. We are separated by a river. Canada, DNA. The Navajos freed Pueblo slaves from Chaco and Asazi. Yeah, it's a very. That's where it goes in the Great Gambler, the Medicine Men, and the Holy People, and it also deals with magic. Yeah, pretty dark stories there in Chaco. Crazy Coyote, that song, the Hawaiians Polynesians sing sounds Navajo when I played the RE4 remake. Hey, Crazy Coyote, send that to me on Messenger. I would like
Right.
to check that out. Sounds very interesting. our siblings, our brothers and sisters. But right here, BCAS right here says Nahani Valley is also called the Headless Valley. They used to find dead people with no heads. Lured to the locals in the area. Oh man,
Mm.
that reminds me of something. They said that in our culture, if you go after Sasquatch, he's gonna destroy your head. They said that it's always gonna be your head. There's gonna be a rock on your head, or a big boulder on your head, or a big boulder on your tent. Just flat out smush you. And the no heads, I remember like from the Navajo culture, they called us because whenever we would kill an enemy, we would crush their heads flat like a tortilla. And then everyone that was watching, different tribes, they say, "Why'd you do that?" They say, "Because when this man goes into the underworld, he won't find his head." And that's what the Hopi call us too. Tesavado for male, Tesavada for female. So it translates to the head rock crushers, like like they crush the head with the rock, because the Hopis always seen the Navajo beat their enemy, no matter who the enemy was. They always seen the Navajo beat them, and when they beat them, they grabbed the boulder and stood over their head and just smashed it flat, and then they walked off. Pretty
Wow.
dark.
Yeah, history gets pretty morbid sometimes. Wow.
Yeah, but it's uh it's the past. We all got to know the past to not repeat it. Like a lot of things that's going on today, a lot of the past is being repeated in politics. Like
Mm.
a lot of things that's going on is reminds me of what happened in Germany. In the 40s and 30s. Um, See here, Crazy Coyote. Something else to think about: why build in canyons unless you're hiding from something that can't climb rocks? Huh. That's very interesting, huh? I know Sasquatch can climb rocks. He's a real great climber. But I think it's more of a human, and a lot of them built in the canyons to avoid each other, to avoid maybe even other creatures. But I know everyone raided each other, and also for cannibalism as well, because cannibalism and magic go hand in hand. Um, Here, Cast 33. Interesting. I honestly think the Nahani could have been Navajo Dene. Just my thought. Possibly. Possibly. I gotta go over there, check out the valley, go to sleep, and see what kind of dreams I'll get. Crazy Coyote. I've tried to find that. It's like trying to find a straw inside a haystack. Mm. Oh yeah. Who knows? Only thing to do is just go back and just dig. Who knows? But I think that's all the time we got today, folks. Darren,
Yep.
you have anything you want to say?
Oh, well, the holidays are coming up. Try not to lose your mind over possessions. I think just being together and eating together is a great thing. And me being out here working, I don't really get to be around my family all the time. So, uh, you know, take some time. Reflect on what's going on in this life and what really means, what this material world really asks. Not really, it's not a whole lot. So so Take care of yourself. Stop by, see your relatives, visit on your grandma and grandfather. I'm pretty sure they would be happy to see you and see what you've been up to. Stay warm wherever you are right now. And thank you for listening to another episode of Don't Whistle at Night podcast. We're trying to get on to, well, I'm trying to get on spot. Oh man, what was that one? What was that thing? what was that thing called?
TikTok.
Uh, TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah. I'm trying to introduce myself in the TikTok, and I'm not really in tech savvy. I went from banging on a rock to presenting myself on YouTube, Hulu, and TikTok here. So like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you,
And
Darren.
Jim,
Oh,
too. Thank you.
oh yeah. Thank you, Jim. Let's read these last comments right here. BCast33, white shell woman was a Polynesian. Heard some chants are similar. Oh, I believe it. White shell woman does sound like a Polynesian. I would not doubt that. Um, all right, Crazy Coyote. Thank you, laters, brother.
Later.
Stoic, Stoic Dissension. I know I probably said that wrong. I need glasses. Says, dang, I'm super late. I was randomly thinking about the show and poof, y'all were live. LOL. Sending love from Northern California. I appreciate the show, guys. You have great conversations. Thank you. Oh, hey,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Stoic. Appreciate it. We'll do our best to keep them coming for everybody. Darren and I love to do this, and hopefully we can
Hmm.
the rest of our lives. Hopefully we'll get some material out there, boots on the ground type of deal for everyone.
Yep.
And you can see Darren and I crap ourselves. Crazy Coyote gift hack Xmas Xmas gifts. The best one comes from truck stops. Ooh,
Oh
like
yeah.
the little bat. It's cute.
Think cut out there, Don. Huh? My lost Don right there. If I'm still here, you know, um, thank you for listening to Don't Whistle at Night podcast live on United Public Radio's network. 107.7 FMs out of the beautiful yet mysterious New Orleans. If you have stories and want to talk to us, hit us up. We're more likely to present yourselves out here and join us on the storytelling that Native Americans are telling. You don't have to be gruesome or gory either. Just good communication was always best between the nations. And
Yeah.
I got to say that ending part right there, buddy. I always wanted to do that. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm lagging, huh? The internet's messing
yeah,
up on my end over
yeah.
here. Like, I'm all talking away, like, oh man, come on. We'll read this one right here. Crazy Coyote. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This
Yep.
guy, he made me say Christmas. So here, true to my tribe, 0918. I got a cousin that's looking for a good man. Right here, right here. I'll send you my Cash App, PayPal, $1,000 up front. Ah, Little Wolf C13. Thank you both. Glad I can join the live tonight. Oh, thank you,
Oh
Little
yeah,
Wolf.
thank you.
Thank you. Don't, I won't tell Benita that you're here though. Shh. It says human. Okay. I don't know what that is. Little Wolf. Ha ha ha. Darren, that's funny. Okay.
Uh,
BCast 33. Good night. Looking forward to the next one. Oh,
oh
same
yeah,
here.
oh yeah.
Same here. All right, guys. Um, this is the end right here. Little
Hmm.
Wolf says, "LOL." Shh. Yep. Yeah. So we'll introduce Darren to TikTok, the platform, pretty soon, and we'll interact more with you guys on there. So if you have the TikTok, look for us. Don't whistle at night. We're on Spotify. We're on TikTok. Um, Rumble, Facebook, Don Yalzi, Darren Yalzi. Facebook, look at the group, Don't Whistle at Night podcast. And thank you for tuning into Don't Whistle at Night. We've been broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, you awesome people out there. Yes, you right there, you with the glasses. No, I was just kidding. Thank you, guys. You guys have a great week. Don't whistle all night. Stay weird out there. See ya. All right, guys. Oh, yeah. See you guys.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of Native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.